I don't feel sorry for you because I know you don't like the hot stuff, Razor. I get it. But if there's ever a morning for a piping fresh hot cup of coffee, it's freaking cold outside. It is it feels like New England fall, not spring. But what a Sunday, a glorious hot cup of coffee, talking about the Boston Bruins first game in the second round, a dominant 5-2 performance. I love you, buddy. We got to figure out how to get you a cup of hot coffee. You're missing out, my friend.
I had a little snap chill already. I mean, I came home and the heat was on in my house, so that was a whole other thing. What are we doing?
My wife. She said the same thing.
Got to rectify that this morning.
Oh yeah, my wife's like, we just had the air conditioning on the other day, and we got this old house that needs it has mood swings again, kind of like I use the analogy again, like my high school girlfriend, and all of a sudden she's like, we need the heat on, but she's not going to do it. The principal, she said, behind it.
Good job, Vic. She's got to talk to Aaron because I came home like we can make it through the night. God.
Well.
So yeah, that's why I needed a cold brew because my house is a furnace.
Well, welcome into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor, and this episode brought to you by the phenomenal people at Fazenda Coffee, at the Sparks Sharpener, and by Wormtown, talking about their craft brewed seltzers. We'll get to those in a little bit. What a night. What a fun environment. What a fun game to watch wherever you like. And now, don't get me wrong. If you're an Islander fan and if you're watching this as an Islander fan, I'm sure it wasn't that much fun. But we're here to talk about the Bruins and to break them down. And it was. And Razor, it was one of those games. Tell me if you felt the same way as you were part of the telecast back in Watertown and doing a great job there. And I know that's a different experience, but let's talk about the vibe. Let's talk about the atmosphere. What could you feel through the TV? What was your take on that?
Well, one, for me, it was jealousy right off the top because there was nothing I would have rather been doing was see what that was like. But I got the sense all the players were feeding off it from the minute they stepped out there. The guys talking on the broadcast, it just felt different than what we've done for 15 months. It really did. And I mean, I know we've had a long 15 months, so we can overstate things and get overly excited. But this one was as good as it gets. You know, the best day we've had for me in the last year and a half, just because of you could feel it through the TV. You really could feel the energy that everybody had and everybody was playing with, everybody was talking with. You guys were talking with. You could just feel it.
It was literally a rebirth of a city, maybe even of a region, as Boston sports are New England. They aren't just Boston. They are New England. That's what makes Boston so different, is that, yes, it might say Boston Bruins, but they're New England's team. And, you know, that's what separates. And, of course, others. We got people in Canada. Heck, we got people in Australia and Ireland listening and watching us. But you know what I mean, folks. It's a New England vibe. And it did feel like a reawakening of sorts. And I kept looking around, and people's faces were just, I mean, they're going to be sore from smiling. It's like how my body feels after finally going back to do a Orange Theory class. I'm in so much pain from using those muscles. But people were doing, I mean, I'm telling you, they were like, I was watching during the TV timeout stuff, there were people dancing or whatever. By the way, the DJ at the Garden this year has been, I don't know if it's different. He or she is phenomenal, Razor. And you know that. You've been there. And there were like, I said this on telecast, there were like 50 and 60-year-old guys dancing that shouldn't have been dancing in the stands. But they were having a great time. Awesome. So I'm glad it did. I'm glad it did translate there. People were awesome. It was different, though, partner. I mean, look, I know we've all been out to dinner a little bit more now. We've all seen more people. But this was like whoa. I mean, like all of a sudden, it was like poof,
Yeah, it's over.
magic.
It's over. Whoa, what are we doing? What are we
Oh
talking
my
about?
God. I mean, like sprinkle a little dust on and like boom. So I tell you what was great too is that at least for a day, and I'm not going to get soapbox here, we're going to get into the game. People were really happy to see each other. And genuinely, you know what I mean? Like it was that commonality coming together. Everybody was nice. It was great. Give them a week. Not even. Give them a few days.
Give them Monday. Give them Monday. But yeah, the first one. Everyone who was in that building was there for the first one, and they'll always be able to tell whoever it is. But the second one doesn't matter, so look out.
It's like a first date. Everything is great, right? And then they rear their ugly head. All right,
That's
to
right.
the game. Folks, the Boston Bruins, is this fair to say, Razor? From start to finish, we're the much better team. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to win the series. We think they're going to, but they were the much better team in so many ways. But yet, did you have the same vibe that I did when it's 1-1 and 2-2? You're like, this is exactly a New York Islander game that they win. And that was not being negative on my part. That's just saying, I know this team. I know Barry. Holy smokes. This is the exact type of game that they figure out a way to win.
There was that feeling. I also had the other feeling that even if they do get a win like that, or even if they even get 2 wins like that in the series, I don't know how they do it 4 times. So that was my thinking watching that. Like, yes, they might squeak this. They might, but if the Bruins outshoot them 40-20 and dominate like this, sooner or later, Charlie McAvoy's goal is gonna go in for the Bruins, and those shots are gonna start going in and finding a way in. So. Certainly, any other team, you're saying it's over in 4. The Islanders, to your point, and to Barry Trotz, they feel very comfortable in these games. That's how they play. That's how they've won, not just this season, but last season and the season before. So it's not luck, it's not coincidence, but it gets really tough to win like that if you're not getting the extra chances that they did not get. They only had the 1 2-on-1 in the first period. Beyond that, they didn't get anything else, and that's really where they make their hay.
I think that 2-on-1 you're talking about, the Palmieri one, is that where
Grizz came over with it? Yes.
Right. So that to me epitomized an awful lot, to your point, Razor, what the Islanders didn't get, because they didn't even get a shot on goal.
Yes,
on that one. And if you look at the heat map of where chances came from overall in this game, and naturalstattrick.com is a good site for that, right? They've got the heat map there.
Yeah.
Razor, not one shot came from directly in front of the net. Not one.
No.
Not one from, I don't know what the footage is. I don't know, but I don't think there was a point blank 4-foot chance on Tuukka on it. And that to me epitomizes, to your point. I mean, maybe there was one on the left side doorstep, maybe 1 or 2. Okay.
Yeah. Like Tuukka's expected goals on natural stat trick was 1.24. So
nothing.
That's really low. That's nothing.
Right.
Yes. That's those tip shots.
Right. And so they had a few from the left side, but nothing from in front of the net from what we call the really high danger area. And that's a great point, because here you go. Isles, man, you can hold on and win one of those games, right? With a tip, a deflection off the ass or whatever. Not regularly.
No.
Let's talk first period. Bruins come out. Bruins elect to start their 4th line against theirs. And I know some people were already texting me, what's going on? Why is, Coach Cassidy starting that 4th line? You know what? Hey, we got matchup. We're gonna tell you what we want to do right here. And that allows him then to jump out a different line right away, because the identity line is already out there. Let's not get too heavy into that, but I'm just saying Bruins get after it, except for there was some mismanagement of the puck, and especially by defensemen, I thought, in that first period, Razor. Otherwise, it was a great period. But it's funny, they self-inflicted enough wounds in that first period that, again, I think made you bite your nails a little bit.
Certainly the first 8-10 minutes, and then they take the power play goal is frustrating because the Bruins are taking too many penalties, and they do it again, and they get burnt on it, and you're saying, well, this is how the Islanders stay in games, by taking penalties and giving up a tip shot after not clearing the puck twice. That was the sense. It was the way they scored. It was just like, this is exactly what you can't do. And they just they hit the nail on the head 4 times with that. And that was frustrating. And to your point, that mismanagement, the puck was bobbling, not hitting the center every single time.
Yes.
A couple bad goalie to D plays. Tuukka played it well all night for the most part, but a couple of them, both the D-man, it was more the D-man bobbling Tuukka's pass. It wasn't so much that Tuukka gave bad passes. It was
Carlos struggled in that period.
He did.
He struggled mightily in the first period, to the point it reminded me, Razor, of early in the Washington series. Remember when he was kind of on the heels again, and he took a little while to finally get going? In that first period, the big boy was having a big time hard time in that first period.
Yeah, he was the one who turned it over.
And you know what's interesting stat sheet after the first period. And this is why, folks, you cannot always trust the stats in arena. And this is not bashing them. I'm just saying everybody has a different
no
view of
giveaways?
Things. None. Zero.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Carlo had 0 giveaways in the first period. I think they may have credited the Islanders with taking the puck from him. No way.
Yeah, no way, Jose.
He pizzaed it a few times.
Yeah.
But he got better.
Yeah, he got better. And listen, the Bruins, once they went down 1-0, then it was over. They cleaned a lot of that up. They were getting everything deep, putting everything on net. And we're rewarded with David scoring at the end of the first, which it turns out it's a big goal with 30 seconds left, and
huge goal
for everybody in the building to release, for the players to release a little bit, to be able to take an exhale that we got one on the board. We're not going to sit here like Game 7 and have no goal scored and everyone be disappointed. I think that's a big emotion that the players sense.
Real quick, what did you think of the tip goal that was allowed by the Bruins? Beauvillier, who's a hell of a player. He is a hell of a player. He wasn't.
Although that line was minus big time, huh? I don't know if we'll get to that.
-2, -3.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, in the big picture of things, Beauvillier is excellent.
Really good.
But what did you think about that? So the tip, it was a beautiful shot pass by Dobson.
Yep.
Beauvillier did a nice job sifting his way to a quiet area, free ice. I didn't love the fact the Bruins let him move around that much, but regardless, what do you think about that tip right there?
No, that was the one. That was the first one that I thought Tuukka should have, could have. It's not a bad goal. I just thought that's one he typically gets. And as a goaltender on that tip play, the one thing you control is nothing going through you. You can't control if it goes barn in. You can't control if it goes around you. You can't control if you're not able to react on it quickly enough. But the one thing you can tighten up a little bit. And Tuukka was there. He just didn't completely lock down, completely didn't get his arms together really tightly. So he was just off a little bit. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason he's doing that is he wants to be active with his hands. If you lock your elbows into your body, your hands are stuck. You have alligator arms. You can't get to anything. So he's trying to be a little loose. But on that play, I think you get as tight as you can and hope it hits you, which he does most of the time. So I thought that one was the first leaky one he's given in 6 games now. Not a bad goal, just a little leaky.
So now, at that point, that was the 8th of 11 goals to go in via tip, deflection, whatever, right through screen in the playoffs. But I don't disagree with you. Not being a former goalie, I just looked at it and I said, okay, I understand tips happen, to borrow kind of a phrase from Forrest Gump, right? But that went through that arm area right there. I mean, to me, if we're going to get into it, that goal, and I texted you asking you, I don't know if I was clear in my text when I was talking, I thought, I agree with you. I thought that one was more noticeably, hey, come on, versus the pellet goal, which had at least one, if not 2 screens, and was a rocket of a shot. Now, I don't want to jump totally to that, but that was my take on it. That's when I asked you, I said, what did you think? How did you see that second goal? And I know some people are like, Tuukka, oh, how does he get beat from distance like that? But holy smoke. I mean, both Pelech and Pula can rip it, man.
Yeah, and when you have your eyes taken away, it goes past your ear, bar and in. Those go in. They go in around the league all the time. They do, gang. Everybody go watch the highlights today, even from the Toronto game. Like the goals that are going in are squeaking by people, going off of legs and bodies and screenshots, and shots are still going in. These guys aren't perfect.
What they should be, Razor.
They should be.
So let's quickly touch on the goal, the end of the period, that I agree was huge for the Bruins, huge for the fans, everything. After that, as you said, it changed the tenor of the game in many ways, but still when it was 2-2, I was nervous a bit. I had the nail bite going a bit. But this is a sign of things to come, right? With Ilya Sorokin. This is a sign of things to come for the Bruins. As David Krejci pumps a shot on net, David Pastrnak, who, if you notice, you in general, not you, now they took him back over. They flanked him back over to the left side.
I couldn't wait to see what they were going to do with that.
Right. Well, I was at morning skate yesterday on Saturday, and the whole power play time warm up, working at the end, he never went over to strong side reload. He never did. They had him on the left side. So it had to have been to get him over on that strong side, especially at times to go against Chara, quite honestly, because the gaps were bigger there where the Caps kept their left side D. So now they get him back over to the left, and magical. The puck's finding him, and he finds it. What I loved about that first goal, as you watch the replay, he corrals it and then shoulders it like he's going to shoot it a little bit. And yet we all think he's got to shoot it immediately. He knows he's got a second. And as soon as he fakes it, he gets the D to buckle, and he gets Sorokin to move just a little bit, and that opens the net even more.
That's right. That's the difference, I think, of 10 days ago. I think he would have pumped that right away 10 days ago. And those are the shot attempts he's getting. But I think that's the difference of him scoring a couple goals. Then he's a little, just that split millisecond more relaxed to be able to take that on a touch, step to the middle, like you said, and then rip it low glove, get Sorokin overplaying it, overly athletic, off of his rebound, which was the theme of the night for Sorokin. He was out there, and yeah, David does a perfect job. That's David Pastrnak goal. That's the one that we've been waiting to get. It's not a one-timer, but it's as close as it's gonna get to that one-timer.
But it's you know what it is? It's a no timer, meaning he's like,
right.
Like, I'm not worrying about time. I'm making sure that I'm putting this to the back of the net. Exactly. Yeah. Spot it, shoot it, score it. Like he knew as soon as he faked that one, he knew that the net was going to be open. What a glorious feeling that is. I don't care what level you play. When you do that and you see the net that open, oh my God, just amazing. And for a guy like that, so tied up 1-1, they get another goal in the second period at 11:08, halfway through. Let's talk top line here, because this was a top line shift as they work it. They, defense cycling, everybody moving. How good was this Marchand, Bergeron, Pastrnak line at working the cycle and working the puck off the wall to the front of the net area and making the Islanders have to create. Early on in the game, it was tougher to get to the front. Off air, we were talking about the theme of the telecast and the Islanders protect the front. And they did early on. I'll give them that. But once the Bruins dedicated themselves to getting pucks through neutral zone, which they did, pretty nice job transitioning and getting the cycle going, especially the Bergeron line, Razor. Holy smokes, did they end up getting opportunities?
They did. They dominated, and they got to that cycle game, and the Islanders had nothing to answer with down low. And even if they did, and that goes back to the Islanders getting out on the rush, even when they did retrieve the puck back, or the Bruins missed the net on a shot, or they dumped it and the Islanders got it, they had nothing left to go in transition. And that's how they counterpunch. That's how they come back and they create offense. They had nothing left because they were cycling it for a minute and a half on every shift, it felt like. And that's that's how that top line works. And we've talked about the second line, how you talked about how much they were on the rush chances after the game. You guys were talking about it, and that's how they played, pushing them back. The top line's bread and butter is get in on the cycle, and certainly in game one, the Islanders could not handle it in any way. They ended up with 19 shots as a line. The Islanders ended up with 22 the entire game.
Yeah,
it was 8 for Bergeron, which he had 7 with 5 minutes into the second period, that guy. And then Pasta had 7, Marchand had 4. So 19 shots between those three guys, and the Islanders had 22 all game. It was awesome.
I had the line via natural stat trick, chances for against at even strength, 23-6. 23 attempts to 6. And then I had the Krejci line, 16-4. And if my numbers are off by 1 or 2, please forgive me. Great point about the second line. In particular, to start the second period, Taylor Hall said, "Here I go."
Yep.
Right?
All right.
Loaded up, rocket fuel, go. And his first 2 chances actually missed the net. His first 2, then the third one, I think is actually his third attempt in the period was going to go wide a little bit, and Sorokin blocks it with the right leg, and he bobbled it through the legs. Remember that one that almost went in through the goal line? Yeah. But that was Taylor Hall. That was Hall-esque right there, getting after things.
And I like that he was shooting. A lot of times you'll see him pull up, right? I think this one he's wanted to dictate, really push them back, really get that D back and soften them up by putting pucks on net. So nice adjustment by him. From typically he wants to pull up, get it to Krejci or Smith across the seam.
Coaches had to have told him, don't.
Yep.
Go. Push it. They're going to give you room because the Islanders like to come back to protect the middle. But if you can go wide and you can establish the zone, not just at the blue line, I'm talking deep in, then we can get our cycle going. They had to have told him because it was so noticeable.
Yeah.
How he giddied up and got after. I was really happy, by the way, that he got the empty net goal.
Yeah.
It was a due reward. 5 shots in the game for Taylor Hall. A couple of other things. You know what? Let's take care of a little business real quick here. The spark of the game, it's got to be that first goal that you mentioned, right? It's got to be that Pasta first goal. That gave the Bruins a spark, down 1-0 late first period. They tied up on the power play, brought to you by Spark Sharpener, our friends over at Sparks. Still joining us here for the playoffs. Go to sparkshockey.com. Look at the machine. If you need it, I'm telling you, you will never regret this thing. Convenient, accurate, so easy to use. The other day, no BS, I called from the road. I was at NHL Network. Jake had a bad edge. He had fallen down a bunch. And I walked, my wife had never done it, and Jake had never done it. I just walked him through it in a matter of not even 5 minutes. It was the old, here's what you do, turn this, do that, done, skate sharp, and go Spark.
One less thing that you have to do now. Jake's on it.
Yeah.
Yes, he can.
We'll see.
It is easy. It's awesome. The best thing I've done, getting one of those guys.
That was fantastic. And also Fazenda. So we got a hot, fresh cup. I mean, I'm drinking dark today. I'm going, I French roast today for me, and strong French roast. Listen, I mean, whatever you want to call it, the Fazenda coffee, the Fazenda fresh, hot, dark, strong mug, whatever it is, it's pasta, right? Piping hot. I mean, it's a plate of pasta, and finish it off with a gorgeous cup of coffee. And Razor, how about this? Our friends over at Fazenda have they got more mugs in. They ordered more mugs. The amazing people over at Fazenda Coffee getting more mugs in for you, the Morning Brew fans. Here's the deal. Listen up now. For every order 35 and more, or 15% off. If you don't want to order everything, but if every order at $35 or more, you will get the new Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor mug. They come in, they're scheduled to come in about June 5th or 6th. So these are for June 8th, okay? So you can pre-order them now. If you order 35 or more, free shipping and mug. Unbelievable deal. And it's because our friends over at Fazenda Coffee decided to say, you know what? We love the Morning Brew people because how much they've supported them. We're going to get in more mugs. So go to fazendacoffee.com and /morning brew. Fazendacoffee.com /morning brew. 35 or more. You can pre-order your order and included a mug in that. This is Boston Specialty Coffee Roaster. Started in Boston, still in Boston. These people are awesome. Hold on one sec. YouTube people, if you're looking, these are the new mugs. Double-sided, phenomenal. They are going to be at Fazenda as of, don't drop that one, as of June 8th. So you can pre-order those mugs. All right?
Oh, it's
How's
exciting.
that?
The mug business is taking off, folks.
It is absolutely taking off. All right, back to the game. All right, let's get you now to 2-2 because Pastrnak, they score in the second period off the cycle. Pelech scores from that bomb from the point. It's 2-2. Enter the third period, and again, I think I won't.
Don't forget to mention the shots are 30-12 at the end of the second period.
That's right. And the chances, I don't remember what the high dangers were, but they were significant at that. And the Bruins at this point still don't have Craig Smith. We're going to touch on that after the game, or after we go through the game here, and a couple of other things too. So now it's 2-2, but the Bruins absolutely never. Come the third period, as soon as I saw them come out, it was just like you felt it. At least I did. That's where I started to say, like, you know what? This team in the third, as nervous as I almost wanted to be, so to speak, because I'm like, here we go with the Islanders. The cycle game continued to be so good. They weren't giving pucks away. They were pushing them up the ice. I thought Mike Riley started moving them up beautifully. Grizz, who had the injury scare. By the way, Grizz can't take hit like that.
Oh, my God. He's coming.
Right.
You got to take it on the right shoulder. You can't try and turn and get missed by that. I mean, it was.
Right. He turned back into it. He turned back. So this is what we're talking about, folks, if you don't remember or didn't get to see it. Forecheck, Leo Komarov, second period, going into what would be the right wing corner for the New York Islanders. Grizzly goes back to retrieve the puck. He's coming up, along the wall in his own zone. And Komarov's pushing from behind a bit, but he's going to finish his hit.
Oh, he's going to hammer him, yeah.
He's going to, right, but but Grizzly turns simultaneously into the hit from Komarov. And he takes it heavy and gets a lower body injury there. Instead of using the right shoulder to take the hit, then you use the wall to absorb it. And hopefully you say, I'm just going to keep moving up the ice. Or at the very least, I eat the puck and we keep it in the corner right there. Grizz did not help himself.
No.
He did not at all. So he missed a couple of minutes.
He dodged a bullet again.
He did. You're absolutely right. No, so he comes back healthy, and then he is out there for the third, which was good. So now let's get to the McAvoy goal. And the McAvoy goal, from a very similar spot as the Pelech goal, was scored in the second period. However, again, this is based off forecheck. This is based off of the Bruins killing off a penalty. Too many. Razor.
Too many men. Uncle.
What's going on, man? What's going on there? That is absolutely.
And this one,
3 times.
I'll get to the Bruins. I'll give them a little bit. There was one in the Washington. One was bad in the Washington series. The second one was very close. It was tight. Yep. They jumped over a little early, and the puck just happened to get there. This one, they were playing for a minute and a half. They would have played for 2 minutes with 6 guys on the ice. They had 3 guys jumping off, one guy going, it was awful bench management.
So that's bench management right there. And that's where you have to look at it and you say, coaches, and I'm assuming the coaches told the players, let's who's up and who's not, but still you have to be really very vocal about it. And when it's 3's too many. 3 is just too many. This is going to bite them in the ass.
That's 6 games, playoff games.
Exactly. So they finish the penalty, kill. Richie comes out, who had served him the penalty. The big boy who, just like Carlo, I wasn't enamored with his game for a while. I felt like wall plays he needed to be stronger on. Well, he was stronger on this. He gets in on the forecheck, helps get the puck back to the point. It's touched over to eventually Krejci, right? Taps it and just ladles it over to McAvoy for a hammer time. And there's big Nick Ritchie in front of the net. Wow. What a screen.
Yeah.
He brings an Islander defender with him. I think it was Pelech or Pulock to get the P's mixed up again, to the front again with him. And Charlie's shot, unlike the Pelech shot that went basically bar down, this was perfect. What, about 6 inches off the ice? 8 inches maybe on the right pad. So hard for a goalie to get, especially when he's got two huge humans in front of him.
That's right. As athletic as Sorokin is, as long as he is, as well as he can stretch out flexible, it's so hard to be looking all the way to Sorokin's left and have it go just inside the post, right along that 6 inches along the ice, just skipping along the ice. And it's hammered. That's the big thing, is it's hit right away.
Yeah.
Charlie doesn't take any time to allow him to get his feet set. So he's looking up the boards as that comes, Krejci right away to the middle. Perfect shot. And that's the goal the Bruins need once a game, right? They've got the pasta goals. They've got the action, the cycles. They need that D-man to contribute with a tip shot, with a screen shot. That once a game, that's what's going to put them over the top as they continue to go further. So nice to see Charlie get on the board too. As much as we've talked about all the guys, I mean, Charlie doesn't need to, but it does feel good for him to get that goal. That's an extra little bump to his confidence.
Oh, I mean, I know he grew up a Ranger fan in the Long Beach area, which, by the way, folks, I mean, I lived on Long Island for a while, and Long Beach is a real bastion for Ranger fans, because that's where the New York Rangers used to practice, actually, years and years and years ago. And so even though it's only 25 minutes to the Coliseum, it's one of those little pods on the island that is dominant Rangers rule, exactly. But still, to score against the Islanders, where Charlie used to go to games all the time, I'm sure felt great. But more than that, it's a leading goal. That's the biggest thing about it. And the look on Chucky Norris's face was outstanding. Again, I love his line. It was just consistent. 2 shots, another attempt, a hit or two, a +2 in the game, and only 22 minutes and 21 seconds.
Off.
That's a night off, exactly. And I just love that. You know what happened after that? And again, I'm not going to focus on it too much. Boston wasn't able to clear. This was the final. Okay, so you're up 3-2, and you're like, just shut them down right now. Palmieri had a great chance after Boston wasn't able to clear, and I don't remember who wasn't able to, and he missed the net. So Palmieri's best 2 opportunities, no shots on goal. And I'm not picking on Kyle Palmieri. I'm just saying, look, this was Lou's big addition. This was his huge addition at the trade deadline, and on the 2-on-1 in the first period, and then it's 3-2. And he smoked it way wide of the net in the third period, coming down that side. Maybe he's not as comfortable playing as off-wing Razor. I don't know. Maybe, I'm still shocked that he has not put Kyle Palmieri with Matt Barzal. I'm shocked that Barry Trotz hasn't done that yet.
It's interesting. I mean, they got to get that guy going somehow. I mean,
yeah.
But I mean, hopefully for the Bruins fans' sake, they
don't care. Yeah. All right, Rask there's a save on Brock Nelson in the third period, and then there's a long shift in the Bruins zone, but they don't break. They bend a little, this and that. The effort by McAvoy, taking hits to get the puck out. Bergeron, by the way, how good I want to go back to that first power play goal. Bergeron diving to get the puck off the face-off on the first Pasta goal. Amazing. Now it's 3-2. Pasta makes it 4-2. On an absolutely just a scintillating, it's a rush down the ice, the pull-up move. And by the way, earlier in the game, both Pasta and Marshy tried to skate the puck through the Islanders' defense of Pelech and Pulock, only to get thwarted by them, completely shut down. This time, Pasta pulls up, I think knowing that Hall's coming. Right? Yeah. And then Hall what does he do? He just busts the seam. He busts the move. And that was, I mean, Hall had a great game, but that was one of his defining moments in the game before Pasta sniped it.
No question. That's 2-on-2, 101. Drive the net with one guy, push the D back, and then, of course, David's going to be able to find a seam throughout those 3 bodies to zip it in past Sorokin. And the great play by Hall, really just, again, that's just hockey 101 from an NHL superstar, right? Just a simple thing, just driving in. Don't do anything fancy. just try and get to the net and break those guys down. And there was no way David wasn't scoring a hat trick after his second goal. He was getting an empty netter. The night needed hats going out on the ice, and they needed it from David Pastrnak, and that was fun. That was really fun.
I mean, what a shot too. From a goaltender's perspective, you've got a guy who's who's got the puck if you're Sorokin, right? You know it.
Mm-hmm.
You know it. So you see the guy in Hall bust the middle, who takes Dobson with him perfectly. That was legal interference. You know what I mean? Like, that was just because you're allowed to take ice. Dobson turns, take your space, and Dobson's on the ice because they need an offensive-minded guy out there as well. You know, they're down by. And then Pastrnak with the rip. I mean, that's where that toe curve and that release gets him. And Sorokin, is he leaning a little bit? Well, I think he has to, because doesn't he have to play Pastrnak coming to the middle a little bit?
That's right. And we've talked about that. Play across the middle, the goalies get ahead, right? And in that play, it's even harder not to get ahead because of the bodies in front. Sorokin has to lean a little bit to the left outside of Dobson because of David being the right shot cutting across the middle. And as soon as he leans just a little bit, David gets it, like you said, with that toe curve, pulls it back into the middle and goes blocker side. Oh. Thing of beauty. It's a thing of beauty.
Oh my God. That was amazing. And then the hats raining down. I don't know how long that took, but
it felt like a long time sitting in the conference room.
It probably had. That was the most, like, people have been like throwing so many other things the last 15, 16 months out of anger, disgust. Seriously, how much crap has people broken out of the, are you kidding me? This is what the world has become. That was a that was euphoria. That was, I mean, the amount of, there were 1,000 hats, and I'm not exaggerating, on the ice. There were 17,400 there. That was the official attendance. I actually think it may have been more. I don't know if it was, but because of everything being filled. But there had to have been 1,000 hats out there, easily. And it was magnificent. 4-2 at the time. Hall seals it with the empty net goal. The Islanders pulled their goalie early, as they had to. Barry Trott's not thrilled with his team after the game. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Do not sleep on this team, though, folks. Even though the Bruins are, quote-unquote, the better team, they still beat the Pittsburgh Penguins, who felt that they were, quote-unquote, the better team. The Islanders, listen, the Bruins, if they play like this regularly, they'll win. Razor, to your point much earlier in the show, how do they beat the Bruins 4 times? I don't know. I don't. But the Bruins have to play the way that they did for most of game 1. Let's not see them regress.
They do. And just really quickly too, I think thinking about it a bit last night and this morning, just talking, those 5 losses did Boston such a service in this series. Yeah. In that they know that they have to stay disciplined throughout the whole game. And they did that in the third period. This game was exactly like the first 2-3 games the Bruins played against the Islanders in the regular season, where they're dominating, they're playing well, everything's going well, but it's tight. It's 2-2. And they got undisciplined, and they allowed those chances. They tried to push too much offensively. To your point, they didn't do that in the third period. As soon as they came out, they stayed with their purpose. And I think a lot of that, they've learned their lesson with this team. Just like you've learned your lesson. Just like you know these guys are okay still. And I think the Bruins have that feeling too. And I think that's going to go a long way in this series, that they understand that the Islanders are never out of it too.
Right. And I really I feel like the Bruins have figured out, relatively terms, the neutral zone. Yes, they did have issues handling with the puck, but they were more in their own zone or in the first period. I don't know if that was a case of nerves, overexcitement, or give the Islanders some credit. They were aggressive, but they never, I don't know what possession time was in the O zone for each team, but the Islanders did not have nearly as much sustained offensive pressure. I thought the Bruins, once they got their breakout/neutral zone, the neutral zone was pretty good all game. The Bruins transitioned it quickly. They didn't allow the Islanders to get reset. They didn't to reload them. And then that was, to me, key. So as long as they can keep doing that, and you understand that the games in theory are going to be tight, I think the Bruins, they get it now. to your point.
Yeah.
Um,
Adjustment time. Game 2.
All right, let's talk.
Here we go.
Let's talk that quickly here. Does Barry Trotz change goalies, you think? Does Sorokin, who gave up, I don't know the amount of percentage of shots, first shots that became second chances for the Bruins off rebounds. Do you think he changes goalies and goes to Semyon Varlamov?
I don't. Now, I was adamant about it last night, and then you bringing it up this morning, I'm less on the hill.
I think he changes. I think he changes.
I
personally
think the way Sorokin played in the first round gets him one more. That's my feeling. But I'm less sure of that now than what I was at 12:30 at night last night. So I'm going to stick with Sorokin, but
I think he changes Varlamov, and he doesn't blame Sorokin, but I think it's an easy change to go to Varlamov, a vet, a guy that has great year, great success, who absolutely, I from what I would gather, he's supporting Sorokin because he's been winning, but this is an easy change, and I would think that Varlamov gets in. The big thing to talk about for the Bruins, Craig Smith goes out with an injury, suffered in the second period. Smith only ends up playing 10 minutes and 14 seconds in this game. It's a concern for me. You know, I thought at first it was upper body, the way he kind of went off, and then they announced lower body. We showed what we thought was the moment where he kind of jumped out of the way, Razor, a bit. I don't think there was knee contact. I'm concerned about this one, especially remember when Carlo got hurt the second time when he came back, and it seemed kind of an innocuous type play, Bud. Remember that he gets hit,
yep.
And then he came, and it was 6 weeks then. It's one of those where I rewatched this thing, and if this is the moment, we showed it on Nesson, where he kind of jumps out of the way and he tries to get moved. There's a little bit of contact made with the mid-body area, but I see his body turn. I'm hoping it's not they called it lower body. I'm hoping it's not like a groin / abductor type of thing where he moves over and like, oh no, because those tweaks can become big if it's something like that. I tried to see if there was knee contact. Did you see knee contact? I didn't end up seeing knee contact.
And the other thing, I was thinking that it was also a little bit from the Clutterbuck as well. Because I saw him go down, just hold a little after that whistle, and whether that's a culmination of that also getting hit on the line a little bit, that made it extra worse. Just a culmination of the last 10 minutes of that period.
But was the Clutterbuck hit? Wouldn't that have been more upper body? That's what I thought.
It would have been, but maybe they banged somewhere in there, and then he bangs it just. I don't know. If it's a growing thing, you're looking 10 days. Schedule helps them with that a little bit because of the extra days in this series. That's beneficial if you look at it that way. The one good thing is that he didn't just disappear. He played the shift. He still had some hop. He tried to go through it. That gave me a little bit more positive vibe than what a Grizzly hit when he just goes off and doesn't come back. That means he's close, and it's not precautionary because playoffs is never precautionary, but it's you could make this worse. Let's stay here.
Yeah, I'm with you. It scares me when I thought it was one thing,
and it's not.
I thought it was Clutter.
Yes.
And the hit from Clutterbuck, and then you hear, because again, I'm surmising that was upper body, but then you hear lower body, and then you see him moving his body. It says to me muscle, and it says to me something in that core / groin area. And to your point, that's whatever. We're 10 days, give or take. So if he is out, let's just say he's out a couple of weeks. Let's just say 2 weeks, all right? Or even just a couple of games. Let's just say, what do you do there? Because DeBrusk I thought he struggled on that right side a bit at times. That third line wasn't great. Do you elevate him with Krejci and say, listen, get up there, bud. You've been here before.
I put Nick Ritchie there.
You put Nick Ritchie on the offside. Mm-hmm. You move him into there. Or let me ask you this. Hear me out. Do you maybe say, because Curtis Lazar, can you put a Curtis Lazar up there, all right, on the right side, natural right wing, and say, look, do what Smitty was doing, hunting pucks, using your speed, try that, and you move Corrali to middle on the fourth line, and you move Frederick over to the left wing on the fourth line. Can you? Would you consider that? I was jotting lines down after the game last night. Would you consider that or not?
The only concern is the fourth line of the Islanders. The Islanders, the way they have their four lines set up, makes it hard for me not to have Lazar in the middle. That's the only thing. As like Corrali's been good, but I think Lazar's such an upgrade there down the middle that to the point. Same thing, moving Coyle to the wing there does. I want those guys down the middle. I don't want to move things. What's going on down the middle? That's my only. If it's a different team where they're really top heavy on the top three lines, maybe you need to do that. But I don't think you need more balance rather than loading up. That's my thinking.
I'm with you. I love the center strength. I do. Yeah. I'm just trying to think, as we were talking post game last night after the
I don't think it's DeBrusk. And if that's your point, I think that's the main. I don't think you move him up there. That's from what I
see. My thing about moving Richie up there is, again, it takes him from left to right. That's a difference. He hasn't been playing the right side at all. Okay.
Yeah.
Secondly, I don't like Krejci's gotten used to speed on his wing.
I was gonna so Kuhlman. Can Kuhlman slot in there and the same thing? Just go get the puck. I get it. He does not have the same. He doesn't have a hockey sense for David Krejci, but he's got the speed.
Yeah. I think they could try that. I think they might. Because the Island, it'll be interesting. The grind too. They can grind it out. That's why I wonder, maybe they're willing to put Freddie in on that left wing and see if he can help grind it out. It's going to be very interesting. But anytime a player does not come back in a game,
don't count on him the next one. Yeah,
do not count on him. Right. So hopefully we'll get some word. We might not know exactly what the injury is, but we know it is lower body. We'll see from Craig Smith. A couple of other notes right here. Loved the anthem from Todd Angeli. Loved it. I've heard the Garden sing before. It was as loud singing in unison as they ever have. It was phenomenal. Even more loved before that, AJ Cueta being there with his family and friends as the banner captain brought a tear to my eye. Razor, you and I have kids that play the game. We all play the game, but when you see a vibrant young person there, and his smile, Razor, was amazing when he was doing it. And he had his buddies there waving the flag, and his parents, and he's got, we all know, a long road ahead. But to see that, I did for that moment. I'm like, I'm standing in our booth, and I'm like, you never know what's going to happen. And I know it sounds whatever, but you don't in this world. And to see him and his smile, it really brought it warmed my heart. It did.
Yeah, great to see him there. And it's just so hard and difficult. And when he's smiling, when he's out there, those are good days for him.
It was awesome. Speaking of good days, tomorrow's supposed to be better weather-wise in this area. I hope it's a great weather wherever you are. I just want to quickly tell you about our friends over at Wormtown Brewery and their craft hard seltzers. They're, some wonderful people that came on board with us. Their craft hard seltzers come in 4 flavors, including this one, orange zest. They've got a cran apple. They got lemon lime. Go to wormtownbrewery.com/our-seltzers to check them out. They're gluten-free, 100 calories, 2 grams of carbs, 5% alcohol. Wormtownbrewery.com, /our-seltzers to learn more about them and where you can get them. Thank you to Wormtown Brewery.
Thank you. I'm crushing some today.
And you know what? I think I will be too. All right, speaking of crushing it, Razor, crushed it here. Great show. Tons of stuff we keep going over. Yeah. Fans, you guys are the best. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Razor and I will have another Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor after Game 2. Release times are all going to be different. We're all working different times here and there. We will keep you updated through the great RC. The man behind the curtain is going to keep everybody up to date. Bruins win game 1, 5-2 over the Islanders. Game 2, Monday night, Memorial Day night, 7:30 at TD Garden. In the meantime, enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy the victory. Have a wonderful holiday weekend. And please, please enjoy that morning brew.